Warning, the following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Coach's Box. I think it's like 165. We're here. We've brought our racers and rubber bands, and we've got a full house of dudes to talk about this stuff. Guys, what's up tonight?
Hey.
Not much.
That's it. That's
through.
not everybody wants.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
job.
Hey, it's
Go
been a
City.
We're getting a lot closer to basketball season.
Yes,
we are.
Is this the calm before the storm?
right here, baby. Basketball season's coming.
Oh, boy. We don't want to talk about the Lakers.
Hey, you already shot. No, I wasn't even talking about the Lakers. I was talking about you already made some shot fired at me today. In your commercial. I hear you.
Did you guys beat us last year?
Yes.
Okay, so
And that might have been the most enjoyable game of the year.
we are trying to get better, so we have a chance to beat Herculaneum this year.
Well, I did graduate.
Pretty simple.
I'm going to be like you were after all those guys left. I graduated 6 seniors. I don't have anyone that's worth a crap.
I didn't say anything worth crap.
Okay.
Here comes Coach Speak, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
sorry. Let me go with Coach Speak of how you did it.
Sure, go for it.
God. No, we're good.
There you go.
Wow.
See, no problem whatsoever here.
And it
So-
begins.
Yeah, I know, right? Good stuff. But anyway, we do have. I feel like we're going to have some good conversation tonight.
Good or
it is-
controversial?
It's news. It's happening. There's things going on a local level. It's not just us, pissing and moaning about the Cardinals or, other stuff happening on a national scene. We actually have stuff that's been happening more on a state or local scene. Jim, since you are the professional here and we are just a bunch of amateurs who
Big-time
like to play on
professional.
computers and stuff,
We're
why
not
don't you
worthy.
listen- yeah.
We're not worthy.
Hey, everybody who's been on Fox 2 gets to lead us on this.
Oh.
I had my name on the screen, but because of Jim.
Hey, so
Really?
Wednesday.
We already
we're-
see how
we're-
this thing is going to
We're
go
starting
tonight.
with a sigh. Come on.
It's already off the rails, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome. That's
Thank you.
what we do here. That's
Okay,
what we
so
do.
yes, local, and actually it's local, and I mean it's turned into a pretty big issue across the state on the high school side. 3 schools out in Kansas City have had to forfeit games. Is it 6 now? Okay,
6
I
now.
know of 3.
It's 6 total.
Look at that. Oh, 6 total. I know St. Mary's has had to forfeit a game here. I know Pius had to forfeit a game. There's various reasons why this is happening, and the main reason out in Kansas City is, and I'm just going to be very blunt about it,
Please
is
do.
administrative stupidity. It's just it really is. And I was talking to a couple people, especially the Lincoln prep situation. And basically, for people that don't know, teams have had to forfeit games because they've had ineligible players. At the beginning of the year, you have to designate through MSHSAA, through their website, all of your players, and you have to make sure that they are cleared. Well, apparently there's certain administrators, athletic directors, that did not do what they're supposed to do, and it's turned into a major issue. And the one big piece of it is it's affecting, district seating. It's affecting how things are going to go down starting next week when districts play. And the Lincoln Prep one is just the one that boggles my absolute mind, is their justification for it, which is absolutely stupid.
I haven't heard their justification.
I haven't heard that
Is
yet
this
either.
the
Well, the
subvarsity?
justification is that
We're
it's a
not
first
big
year.
time.
No, the justification. No, the coach and the athletic director went on Facebook to justify this, and I saw the
Good place.
screenshots. And basically, they're saying that it's Misha's fault because Misha, nowhere in the handbook where it says what sub-varsity means. Okay, we're all coaches. We all know what sub-varsity means. That means you cannot play varsity.
Oh,
Apparently they don't. Apparently they don't use Latin prefixes anywhere.
Exactly.
Latin's a dead language.
And they
That's cancerous.
they publicly came out and basically were like, well, Misha should share responsibility. They never said what sub-varsity means. Anybody in their ever-loving right mind, whether you're a first-year athletic director or even a kid out of college, knows that sub-varsity means you can't play varsity, you can play JV.
Now I'm intrigued as to what their definition of sub-varsity is.
Exactly.
Hold on. I saw this. They said sub-varsity means
You
that
could sub
can't
into
be
the
a
varsity
start. You can't be a starter, but you could sub
Yeah.
into the varsity game.
Except
Sub-varsity.
Except on Misha's site, sub-varsity is hyphenated, not two different words.
Right?
Not sub for
Yeah.
varsity. It's
Yeah.
sub-varsity.
And
I'm also pretty sure
That's the
that
lamest excuse I've ever heard.
they're
Exactly.
color coded. Varsity normally is in green or blue, and then the sub or the ineligible kids are in red.
And
Kind of
listen,
like
when
you
you
guys
get
at basketball season. Stop.
when
had enough.
you put it in, say you put a transfer in, okay,
never did
automatically,
stop
unless
saying.
there is excruciating circumstances, which is a hardship, that kid's getting kicked back 365 varsity, and they can only play freshman or junior varsity, and it specifically says this student has been ruled ineligible and can only play sub varsity. It says right on the student profile that Misha has.
Yeah, if I remember correctly from when I was an AD, no matter what the hardship is, it originally comes back and says sub-varsity until someone at the Misha office goes through and goes one by one and checks
Yes.
off all those kids. So no matter what you put in, it says varsity restricted or restricted sub-varsity 365 days. And then it's like another week before they even come back to say
Right.
sometimes.
Right.
Wait, okay, so again, this is where it's there's a lot of head scratching here, because how can you be that damn stupid? Okay, I mean, this is that thing where people will go like, who's
we
in
doing?
charge of this stuff? And this leads to like those Twitter posts from pundits who feel like they know a lot about sports saying ADs don't know what they're doing. Well, it's like that old saying that a few bad apples spoil the bunch. How do you not know that? Like,
Well,
it is. I know the Misha side isn't exactly like the greatest, easiest thing to navigate through, but that's a very simple thing, and I've seen it. Your master roster, your eligibility roster on there is. You said it right. It says if they are eligible or not eligible. There isn't any gray area there.
No.
It's
So-
actually not even that hard to navigate anymore.
No, it's a lot easier than what it was when I was an AD when they first put it together, and they're like, "Hey,
Right.
we're going to put everything online now."
But here's the kicker with the whole thing. First year athletic directors have to go, like with my first year, I had to go to a 2-hour meeting at Kirkwood High School with all of the St. Louis area first year athletic directors. Then my second year, I had to do a Zoom, which was 2 hours. And guess what was the topic in both of those sessions?
Transfers.
Transfers.
Well,
How
with
to
Misha-
go about, how to
What-
go through, and
what-
everything.
Jim, there's ways around that, because even if it is a first year, even if they don't go, they're just going to keep saying, I want to know whether that guy actually, or girl, I don't know, attended
Right.
one of those meetings, because it's not like Misha's going to come back to the school and say, hey, that guy can't be your athletic director. He didn't go
No,
to
but they could find the
2-hour
school.
meeting.
They can
No,
find
he
the
could.
school.
But they give those schools all kinds of chances to make up and say, hey, you got to go to this. Hey, you got to go to this. Hey, you
Well,
got to go to this.
the other thing too is even in the area meeting, and once again, they do a big St. Louis area meeting where not only the athletic directors this year,
superintendents,
the principals or the superintendents, there had to be another administrator had to be at that meeting.
Yeah. They do it twice a year.
One in September and then one in January.
Well,
and what do they go over? Transfers, what to do.
Well, the problem is it's not just that. I mean, you could pick any sport, whether it's going to be fall, winter, spring. There are going to be multiple schools, double digits, that don't even bother putting in eligibility rosters to begin with. Whether it's been basketball, whether it's been baseball, there have been situations where, hey, I'm curious, what grade was so-and-so from last year? Are they returning? Who's back? And you go on the MSHSAA site, and we're 3 weeks into actually playing games, and guess what? There's no roster. There's no eligibility roster on MSHSAA. So my thought is, how do they even get to play? How do they even get these games? And whether it is a wintertime sport or whether it is a springtime sport. So this is not just football. This is across.
No.
It's not city. It's not rural. It's everywhere.
I saw a tournament one time where team played first 2 games, and then they come to the championship, and they had this real big kid that hadn't played in the first 2 games, and he strolled on out there with them, and they won the championship. And I was like, where was he the first 2? And you look up some of the rosters of, like Zach said, of some of the teams you play, and I don't even have stuff in there. How is that?
Where'd that guy come from?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, how does that work? How do you not have,
and how is MSHSAA not doing something about it? That's what I don't understand.
Well, here's the thing and I'm giving MSHSAA a lot of credit now. I think you've got members of the board that are actually tired of hearing about all the shenanigans going on. And Dr. Ruckstead, who I think is in her first year, I think she's done a terrific job going into her second year. I think they're hearing the membership and wanting to get a grip on a lot of the shenanigans that are going on. And I think we're now starting to see this. I made the comment the other day to somebody, in my 19 plus years, I've never seen this many forfeits and that until this year.
Yeah,
and I think
these problems didn't start this year. They just
these problems have been going on. I think they're just now being caught.
Here's an idea, MSHSAA. You wait a month to put out the districts for football. Here's an idea. A team that doesn't have their eligibility rosters in, they don't get to go to the playoffs. Bing, there you go. Problem solved.
I wish there was more teeth to that piece. Absolutely. And I understand the outcry with, like Park Hill South. They had to dump their first seven games. Yeah.
7.
Yeah. You know what? Okay. You guys should not be allowed to play in the playoffs.
I agree with that.
If it's multiple games, I guess Lincoln originally was 5. Now they've tried to pare it back to 4. Well, guess what? It's going to stay at 5 from what I'm understanding. And then, but that's the ineligible player. Once again, the other situations were quarters, JV, where you can only play X amount of quarters and different things like that, with some of the other forfeits that have taken place, but the thing is, and Zach, I'll correct you on one thing on the eligibility rosters. The ADs have to have the eligibility rosters in by game 1. But when they play their first game, they have to have eligibility rosters in. Or Michigan kick it like when you're allowed to play the first day that game, whether I think in the fall it was August 28th or something along those lines, you had to have your rosters in by that day. And but the school eligibility, we had to have school eligibility in by August 15th.
Right.
So that's your master school roster.
Who's checking?
It's red
That's
flags.
the other problem.
It's red flag.
It's red flagged. Yeah.
It
Okay,
is.
then how do we get then my question is, then how do you go 7 weeks? How do you go 7 weeks and you're just now hearing about it and you're just now dealing with it?
Well, here's the thing too. This isn't MSHSAA catching all of these. These
that's
are
what I'm
all self-reported
That's what I'm
incidents
saying.
across the state. So
Because
that's
other teams have caught it, and teams have been forced to self-report.
And that's my point. Why is MSHSAA not doing their job and catching it? If it's red flagged, like you guys say it is, why aren't they doing their job and enforcing and getting on the phone and saying, hey, you're not playing the game. It's an automatic forfeit until, again, this is cleared.
One kid, Zach, but if it's one kid, hold on. If it's one kid, how's Mission knowing that kid played in week 1 or the first permissible game? They can't. They don't have the manpower to be out there to monitor. Now, the only way you change that is you've got to have coaches and athletic directors turn in their game by game roster.
And sometimes there are honest mistakes when you leave one kid off, or you type in the wrong kid's name. You got a set of twins and one's playing and one's not, and you put the wrong twin on the list. Those are easily correctable and not necessarily forfeitable types of things because they were oversights. But you leave 7 kids off, then that's a different story.
Lincoln Prep is a joke. Park Hill South is an absolute joke. I mean, those two they brought this on themselves. And for that coach and AD to come out and make the comments that they made.
Yeah, that's too much.
It made me, it took every ounce of my being to not respond to that and say, you guys are idiots.
You should have, Jim. I mean, other people do around here.
Oh, everybody else did.
Jump on Twitter
I didn't have to. There was enough people jumping on the bandwagon on that one. I didn't need to say a word on that one.
Screen warriors.
Let's keep going and talk about it. If you want to shut me down, go ahead. But talk about the whole concept.
Shut him down.
The whole concept of quarters. Like to me, that all you're doing when you do something like that, this is my opinion. All you are doing, one kid is affecting 20, 30, however many other kids. Well, and to me, it's like, okay, if you're a class 3 school or smaller, there's probably a good chance you have less than 40 kids on a roster. I'm not, that great at math. Chris knows this. Kevin knows this.
He sucks at math.
But if there's 11 offense and 11 defense for varsity, and then you got to turn around and have 11 offense and 11 defense for JV, that's more than 40 kids, 24. And you're not gonna have that. Oh wait, on top of special teams. So my whole thought is on the quarter issue, let the kids play. It's not that big of a deal. And
I'm going to speak as a football coach, and it's
Jarvis woke up.
Well, no, I was sharing our show out to all my groups and everything.
Well, Ron Rhodes thinks you were asleep.
Yeah, Ron Rhodes thinks you were sleeping.
No, I was sharing I try to do my due diligence and get more than 2 people to watch.
We only ask Jason to do small things, and that's one of the things that Jason is responsible for.
And
Ron, he can't even do a commercial anymore, but yet he's sharing stuff. Mr. Technology.
I couldn't today. I had anyway. I couldn't make a commercial today. I was busy.
We had Celtics gear on.
Yes, but
Cavaliers gear on. Couldn't
here's
do
the deal. I think it needs to be in football. I think it needs to be plays instead of quarters, because you could play a kid for 2 plays in a quarter in a varsity game, and it may have been a kid got the wind knocked out of him or whatever, and then that's going to count a quarter, and that kind of sucks. So And when you're juggling quarters, like I had a JV game the other day. I had one kid I could only play 2, one I could play 3, one I could play 4, one I could play. So you have to juggle all those, and you have to figure out how you're going to do that and still have all the positions on the field and special teams and all that. Sometimes it could get complicated at a smaller school.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's something that I've discussed with a couple people. I mean, we had St. Pius had to forfeit a game against Herculaneum because we played a freshman, because we don't have a lot of kids, and we have a bunch of kids that actually would be playing on JV, but they're
You'll
all
have a lot
banged
of
up.
upperclassmen. You
Yeah.
have less than 10
Right.
total upperclassmen,
And-
juniors and seniors.
And we also had especially had like 4 kids who are hurt to play, who are underclassmen who would have played. So we got one kid who's a freshman playing on special. I don't know all the details, but I do know that the quarter thing, especially in small schools with football, which is a sport that people obviously get hurt a lot playing, that
yes.
you,
Some
yeah,
years
just,
more than others.
just ask the Jets. People get hurt playing, or the Browns. People get hurt playing this a lot. So why not? And Jason, I never even thought about the number of plays. That's probably the most brilliant thing you've ever said. So yeah, I will say that. But
Wow.
I mean, with all due respect.
Other than the
But-
flex
no,
sucks,
no.
I don't know.
But the other thing is just make JV games 7-on-7, or just do something to where it's not.
Make
I'm
JV
just
kids
saying,
play
like,
them
let the
Friday
kids
night.
play. Let the kids play, but there has to be something that it's like, what again? Who cares? It's a JV game, so if they got to play somebody who normally plays those quarters, I mean, at the end of the day, just let it go.
I will say that there probably does need to be some version of a restriction on it. The play idea is not a bad idea.
I like that.
Versus that. But they're probably just simply for the fact that you will have coaches somewhere who will exploit the living crap out of the kids in this one.
Yep.
And you'll have the same 22 playing on Monday and on Friday.
Is this not the
playing
the
in freshman
biggest...
games and then JV games in the same night?
I agree.
So you have to do something there.
But think about this. I mean, this is the same question that, like, when being a part of the Missouri Basketball Coach Association, when people say, well, about the all district voting, well, why can't it do this? Why? Like, listen, guys, I understand in a perfect world, we assume that coaches have some form of integrity, but they don't. Because we don't live in a perfect world. There's going to be coaches that take advantage of things that they shouldn't. They try to get the upper hand in ways that they shouldn't.
Yes.
They try to they try to cheat the system in any possible way, and it makes it bad. Again, this is a handful of people making it bad for everybody else. That makes it harder to do your job, because you're not doing what's right. At the end of the day, you just do your job and do what's right, and stop being an asshole about it.
Let's
there
talk
goes
about,
the E logo.
Yeah, there's the
No, I get one.
So look at Pius.
What on the shot clock?
I
when
read the
played
FCC,
fucking
damn it!
Look
You
at
guys are being
Pius.
assholes now. You
Yeah,
stop
oh,
it.
There's
dude.
two. Now we got
Look
it.
at
All
Pius's
right, there it is.
JV, and then look at conference. Now, if you would have played JV that night and said we're going to do 12 to 15 plays, both sides, jamboree style, you probably could have done that. But because you have to have it set up the way it is now, and I'm talking small schools, so Pius has missed out. Didn't get to play Grandview's JV. Didn't get to play Herky's JV. I think right now, I don't think they played Bayless's JV. I think the only JV team they played in our conference has been our 7.
Same
But
thing. Did they
could
not play
they
St.
all have?
Vincent?
Huh?
I don't think they even played
no,
St. Vincent.
They
Vincent.
didn't.
So
Yeah.
could they all have played Friday night, like a 5th quarter before the varsity game? Could they all have gotten, like Jarvis is talking about, several plays in? Give the officials $1 a play, give them $30 extra. Mom and dad's happy, grandpa and grandma's happy. The kids get to play, and that's the problem. I mean, that's the problem. You're canceling all these games on Monday because you have to worry about a Friday from the week before, the weekend before.
Well, you have to worry about quarters.
Yeah.
And you have to worry about sometimes, dude, you'll show up on Monday and this kid's out, or this kid's at the doctor, or this, because football's
A violent
sport, and it's not like, you know, I can tell my senior year I played at Herky. I'm for sure I had a concussion, but I did not come out of the game. I was not coming out of the game. Well, if I would have had a trainer there and they would have saw me because I threw up on the field, everything, and I refused. I didn't even go. I wouldn't go by my coach because I knew they'd try to take me out. But you know, nowadays you have a trainer right there. Kids are getting taken out. Kids are, you know, a lot more cautious. Parents are a lot more cautious. Right. And so they get a little nick. They go to the doctor. And what's the doctor do?
2 weeks.
It can be a bruise.
2 weeks.
It can be a bruise, but you're off 2 weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks.
You have a deep contusion. You're out 2 weeks. Well, then as a coach, you're scrambling around and you want your lower kids. You got all these kids, like maybe you got like 10 that don't get to play at all on Friday.
Exactly.
And but you need a little more than 10 to play that JV game.
Yeah.
And it's hard to sit there and go, well, man, we're sorry. We're going to have to cancel the JV game. That sucks.
Yeah, and it sucks for the kids. Zach said it right. You said it right, Jason. At the end of the day, I mean, there has to be some better system. But going and circling all.
Well, like
you
said something about special teams. So if I'm a kid and all I play is special teams on Friday, that counts as one of my quarters.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
is dumb.
But then if I touch the field any other quarter, then that's going to be 2 quarters.
Well, yeah, you could be in for 4 kickoffs, and that's four quarters.
No, it'll be 1.
Is it just 1?
If that's all I played in was the special teams, it'd count as a quarter.
So if there was a kickoff in each of the 4 quarters, it's just 1 quarter.
Yeah, if you just play, it's the way I have been told.
So it's not even really quarters. It's this.
I mean, I'm not a head
It's
coach,
this
so
geometry.
I don't-
This geometry math equation.
I will say I'm not a head coach, so I don't know the ins and outs of all of it with football. You know, I mean, basketball it's pretty simple. You get 6 a night.
Even if you play a
easy.
minute,
Easy.
even if you play a minute, it counts.
That's easy.
See-
I mean, it's easy to keep track of.
See,
that's
and on that
agrees
one,
with Jarvis.
I'm correct. Okay.
well,
Wow.
and you even look at basketball, look at baseball.
Shut up. I'm
I
right
mean-
once in a while.
You know, you look at basketball and baseball. You get the quarters or you get the innings. There isn't an
Common
issue.
core football.
Take these squares and
That
add
is
all these
funny.
squares up. Right?
I didn't
Wait
know
a
I had to
second,
bring
hold
a
on.
protractor to this stupid show. Are you kidding
Hold
me?
on,
Hold on.
I'm starting to have flashbacks of Zach and Kevin in front of the whiteboard for the NCAA brackets and how they do everything. I'm starting to have that flashback from that episode.
So there has to be a better way. Now, there's one thing between being somebody who doesn't get the quarters right. There's another thing between putting an ineligible player in. But this is, again, Jim's right. This is the most forfeits I've seen throughout the entire state.
I've been doing this 22 years, and this is the most I've ever seen. Now,
Just because people are getting caught.
well, and there's
That
a lot
and
more,
publicizing
By
the
their
forfeits.
boss.
well, there's a lot more media, and there's a lot more film now.
That's true too.
And the film and the media and
Streaming.
people are watching, and any edge they can find, you may play. If people are going to use it.
Is this going to be something we're going to see kind of transfer into basketball season as well, and see some
It will not
forfeits in the
surprise me.
same thing? People
wouldn't.
counting quarters.
I
I would have
re-
miscounted quarters in football if I've got to go through that calculus equation to figure out how many damn quarters they've
You
played.
didn't
over.
use the slope. Rise over run.
It's a lot easier in basketball, man.
Yeah,
You
that's
look-
yeah.
You have a scores book.
You have
They
a
can go back
scoreboard.
and look at the book.
And then there's always someone at a table that forgets to check a kid that
That's
came
true.
off into a
Well,
quarter.
I mean, yeah, but
So
I mean,
I've done that,
I
especially
think it's gonna
Chris's book
carry
he had
over.
last year. That was awful. I couldn't find anything in that.
I don't
damn
even know
thing.
what book. I can't order one right now. I did find
Yeah.
a stupid
Well,
quarters.
heck,
you can
Chris
do
can't
like
even
I
keep
did
a
and
softball
spend-
scorebook, let alone a basketball
I
scorebook.
spent
What
the
are we
rest of my
talking
bu-
about here?
I spent the rest of my budget last year and bought like 20 scorebooks, and now
They're
the
all
timeout-
They're all gone.
so now they're going to have to figure out how to mark them in the new.
Hey,
All that is Adams or Marks V trying to make more money.
No,
Oh,
they did. No. They're not the ones who are going to make that money. The National Federation made that decision without telling anybody. Otherwise, they'd have the books. They wouldn't be on back order. So they had no idea. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, by the way, we're going to do fouls by quarters now. And everybody's like, oh, really? We got to do what are we going to do? Like, what are we doing all these books now? Now they're obsolete.
Make your own.
We're going to have
Hey,
to use
Jamie,
them.
I'm probably going to have to get a hold of BSN and
Make
get
your own scorebook.
Yeah, okay. Ancient one who still uses paper scores.
I
for
made
the
my own
softball.
Made
If
my
we're
own
using
softball
those
scorebook.
books, man. I got the nice green. We're using them. They're going to get used.
Just print
I
off the
want,
sheets and then
I
just
want
glue
Langhauser
over
or
top.
Nolan to walk in the Herky to see your scorebook using the old scorebook and their minds implode.
And just say that's
You'll-
not
you'll-
allowed.
They'll just have to mark it. They'll figure it out.
I won't sign it. I won't sign it.
Jarvis forfeits game due to ineligible scorebook.
We talk about ineligible players. Now we're talking about illegal equipment.
Hey,
Jefferson's Mark V scorebook.
Listen, if I can't get the book because none of these idiots have it, then it's we got to do
you
it.
should have known. You
Hey,
should have known that
Jarvis.
we were going to go to this because everybody knew, right?
Go to Google and Google new basketball score sheets.
Hey, dude,
very easy.
Hey, guess what? I don't have private school money, bud.
What are you talking about? We don't have a bond issue.
It's free.
We
We don't have ADA money. What are you talking about? You get money for people literally showing up and be like, "Hey, I'm here. All right, here we go. There's $6,000 for that kid."
Hey,
we don't get that.
That's another segment. We could talk about all that stuff. Talk about kids and eligibility and grades and all that.
We're not CBC, okay? This isn't how this works. Well, CBC has CBC money. We don't have CBC money.
CBC got Bommarito money.
Bommarito.
There we go. There it is.
Well, I mean, you
Buy
guys
your car,
got one of the
Bommarito.
biggest motorcycle dealing people in the land and the Third right? So, you got Third money, dang it.
Oh,
Maybe not Bommarito money, but
Let's not get into Thomas Industrial Coating money.
Doe Run money.
Doe Run money. There's a good
there
one.
is no Doe Run
I was
money,
gonna say,
buddy.
hold on, Doe Run. I'm
Have
pretty
you
sure
seen that part of our town? There's,
I'm pretty sure that went by a long time ago.
Dow Chemical money.
The government subsidizing the money in the area.
Yeah,
Well, we all make choices. I guess.
EPA money.
That's I mean that's part of it.
Oh, my.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump to a commercial. You are watching the Coach's Box. We'll be right back with another segment. It should be a lot of fun because we're still going to be discussing some more local stuff. Stick around.
Play-by-play announcer who's in your ear
all game long. And the more praise I heap on your team, the more excited you get. Touchdown! Now, you don't hear the upstairs toilet overflowing, and I don't mean with confidence. You wanted a bowl season? You got a bowl season. And if I could show up on game day, imagine what could happen the rest of the week.
So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Hey guys, it's Jeff from Case and Bucks, personally inviting you and your family to come check us out. We've taken over ownership back in September. We've made some great positive changes, got the same legacy wings, got some amazing pizzas, some awesome burgers, hamburgers provided by Kenrick's. We'd love to have you down. Come check us out. The beer's cold, the air conditioning's working, and we're looking forward to seeing you all. Take care.
For 24 years, really enjoyed being a basketball coach. When I retired from coaching, I decided that I wanted to get back into the media world. I look at it from more of a coach's point of view. I love to showcase guests. I love to tell their stories, not just locally and regionally, but nationally as well. Joe Namath, Kurt Warner, Patrick Ewing, Katie Smith. Not just talk about their accolades, but what they have given back to the game, what they've given back as leaders in their community. And I want people to be able to listen to my show and to be able to take that into their life. They're going to be able to live their life like a champion. That's a show right there that I feel like is worth listening to.
What's up, everybody? And look, we got a better version of Jarvis.
Jarvis ended up in the dryer.
We have more hair on his head.
Hey, it's Weston.
What's up, Weston?
Hey, Weston.
I leave the room for a minute, and I got people taking my seat.
That's what happens. You always got to keep your head on a swivel. There's always someone coming after your job, Jason. That's part of coaching. Now it's also part of this podcast.
It's called help side defense, Jason.
You rotated the better version in. I like that. That was good.
Yeah, I was like, just sit right there, dude. They'll think that's funny when they come back.
Definitely. We should probably have more viewers now.
I did get a text about a naked baby on last week. So
yes, you did.
That's funny. That's funny.
So I figured, why not again?
There you go. Attaboy. All right, Jim. Since you're the professional, why don't you jump us in now?
Rubber bands.
Rubber bands, baby.
Oh, here we go.
Stupid rubber bands.
Here goes the rubber band conversation for the week, ladies and gentlemen. District assignments. Let's talk about it.
Sorry.
I feel like this is even painful.
Here's what I'm going to say. I will start this off. I think for football, they got it right. I don't think there's a lot of discrepancies on the football side. At least in the bigger classes. Now, in the smaller classes, yes. In the bigger classes, I think it's fine. Smaller classes, yes, I think there's issues. Softball is absolutely ridiculous, and I'll let Kevin jump in on this because he's the one that brought it up. And the one district that just baffles my mind, and even in basketball, it still baffles my mind, is when you get it on to class 3. You're seeing like Herky, St. Jen, Potosi, Fredericktown, and then you got Notre Dame out of St. Louis. You got Bayless. I forget who else is in that mix, but
that's not even the ridiculous one. One of the most ridiculous district in the state is in class 3. I think it's District 5. I don't quote me. It's Doniphan's district.
Oh yeah.
For those that don't know, Doniphan is practically in the boot heel, almost in Arkansas. You can.
They're not in the boot
5
heel.
miles off the Arkansas border.
I said practically.
They're 15 miles
compared to according to the rest of the state.
I missed by 10. Shoot me.
But they are in a district that is being hosted at Aurora on the other side of Springfield. It is 3 hours, 3.5 hour drive one way. And they have to go 3 times because they made the district championship game. They had to go over there 3 times. Now, I think
Weston doesn't like it either, so there it is.
He's not a fan.
I think their administration, their school board, made the choice to get them hotel rooms for the week. That's the second time in 2 years that Doniphan has had to get hotel rooms in order to compete at districts. Last year, they had to come up here to St. Louis and play because they were the furthest south team with a bunch of St. Louis schools. It's absurd in that sense. I don't know how you fix it because of where they're at in that sense. There's not many other Class 3 schools down in that area. But there's got to be a better way to look at this instead of having large 8-team districts. Chris and I had this out in the parking lot.
We're gonna go down to Kennett, probably is what it's looking like. Only 181 miles one way.
And that's not right either. But what I will say
is in the Boot Heel.
That's in the Boot Heel. But I will say though, that's not 3 consecutive days.
Right.
On school nights to have to go do that.
I'm just saying.
No, and I am. I'm not discrediting that either. But what I would like to see instead, and Chris and I had this out in the parking lot after school one day, was instead of having one large 8-team district, go back and do 2 smaller districts or tournaments within the district so that you don't have that travel on consecutive days, and then just play, instead of a sectional round, make that sectional round the district championship. Like a regional and then a district.
You almost do it like what the NCAA does with softball. I mean, with the college softball World Series,
regionals and super regionals.
Yeah, you've got the regionals and then you play the super regionals. And I think in that situation, I think that's a terrific idea. And that because you can lump the closer schools together, and then when you get to the district final, then somebody's going to have to travel someplace. But I can understand that.
Well, it's. Ours wasn't awful, but we had to drive an hour and a half to play again. And that was in the best case scenario for that entire district because the other 2 schools on the other end were an hour and a half to 2 hours the other direction. So they at least put the district in the middle.
So what we were kind of getting at is, and I brought this up back before we went to 5 classes in basketball, we only had 4. And in class 1, there was the extra state tournament game. It was you would win your district, you play the regional, then you play the sectional. There were 32 district winners at that time in the state for class 1. Now I know there were more schools. When Michigan decided to go to 5 classes and 6 classes, you increase the amount of class sizes, and I get why, because you have the disparity in the enrollment numbers between some of these schools in that same class. But the problem is you don't get to have these matchups that you normally would have in your district based on geography. You don't have good matchups anymore because now to find a team that normally you would have played in the past when you were, before you expanded the classes, which would have been like, 20, 30 minutes. Now you're going an hour and a half. Now you're going further because you had to find that school. And then as we've been told from people who do watch this show and I work with, that there are rubber bands they actually use to find these low, to lump these schools in on a map, and that's your group, that's your district assignment. For your state turn for your
that
district
used to be in the old time. Now that they've got this fancy dancy thing on the website, it makes it a little bit easier because they can plot it. But listen, I agree.
I reject your reality and substitute our own. They still use the rubber bands and push pins.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree.
Nobody gets it this wrong with the internet. This is push pins and.
So I didn't take any pictures or anything like that to throw on the screen. But if you look at the MSHSAA site for Class 1 football, districts now they have four districts now for Class 1. Those districts are so spread out, it makes no damn sense when you have Pierce City and all these other little schools, Marionville, they're in the same district as Kabul, as Thayer, as Fayetteville, Hayti, and Charleston.
Fayette's like in some district with schools down here.
Fayette doesn't have to go that well. Maybe they do. They're in.
I'm looking at it. It is all over the map.
This could have been more alleviated, and they're kind of like handcuffed as to what they can do with the numbers that they have with these classifications. So working within that, if they had just decided instead of having these 8 teams, do these 4 here, let them play for a winner. These 4 here play for a winner. Those 2 winners meet. There's your district champion. And
here's the thing: what drives me nuts is the hypocrisy of saying that we're all about student athletes and the academic side of it, and you want to have teams play in these districts that are far, like with softball. You're playing at a site for your softball games unless you're just lucky. You know, like you and you guys, Kevin, you and Jefferson having to pass each other's schools, traveling wherever to go play a game makes no sense.
If we, the only way that would have worked is, and the only way it's around it, we had to travel to Kelly High School in Benton, Missouri to play.
Well, we passed Saxony Lutheran on the bus,
and then we played Saxony Lutheran.
Yeah,
down
then we
there.
played Saxony.
There is a way. There is a workaround.
We would have at times, if we would have played Jefferson in the first round, we would have had Jefferson come to our field and play to prevent that. But it had to have been that close to do that.
Well, you
the workaround.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Jason.
You got to go.
The workaround is now football. You really can't do this, but for the other sports, there's got to be a neutral site someplace to where you're cutting travel time.
Well, Jim, even our neutral site, was still in the middle, and it's still an hour and a half away.
Sure,
it's a long way.
I get it. No, I get it. But I guess here's my question.
But if they would have lumped
the
4 northern schools together and the 4 southern schools together, then your neutral site middle may become a half an hour, and you can work that out.
Idea. And once again, if you want to take a page out of the NCAA book, you set it up like the NCAA does with like the baseball and with the softball, stuff. You have your regional, and then you have your super regional, which could be your district and your super district.
Well, you're talking about that first district in Class 1, right, Chris? If you look at District 2, it's
2 hours.
I don't know if Chaffee and Fayette would end up playing each other, but that's a 4-hour and 4-minute drive from Chaffee, Missouri to Fayette, Missouri. And the only reason why I bring up Fayette is because it's where I went to college. Was in Central Methodist.
It takes me 2 hours and 10 minutes from my house to get to Fayette.
Yeah, it takes me about 2.5 from here. Well, depends on how fast I'm wanting to get there. But you look at all those schools. You have Chaffee, Crystal City, Fayette, Harrisburg, Louisiana, Russellville, St. Vincent.
Oh, Louisiana's a trek.
Tipton and Van Far. Yeah, and Van Far's far. So that is crazy.
My real thing, I've always had this argument about this when it comes up with it, is exactly what Chris said. If MSHSAA at some point wants to say that they are about student health, student well-being, student whatever, student centered, these types of things are not playing into that.
You
that
can't
phrase.
You can't have schools that are going to play like we had talked about. East Carter, their softball team having to go all the way to Richland and play, and they had the neutral site. They had 3 games scheduled. And East Carter had the last one at 6:30. That the game before theirs went longer, so they didn't start till 7:30. And so if they won that first round game, they were going to stay the night because they had to play at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. So you mean to tell me that whoever was going to play a game was going to get on a bus, go all the way back, and then come back? No, somebody has to spend the money. So whether it's the school districts, whether it's the parents, depending on how everything's set up. So what sense does that make by saying that, we're all about that? You're not. And there's a lot of really good people who work for MSHSAA. I'm not dissing MSHSAA, but there's got to be a better system, because you can't say this and then do that and think that works.
And it's not just these 2 sports. It's the same thing in soccer. It's the same thing. I know you don't give a crap, but it's the same thing.
No, it is the same
thing. The schools are spread out beyond all kinds of get out.
But can I ask you a question? And this is for the coaches. Okay, this is for the head coaches in the room. Has this been brought up in shut up? Has this been brought up into when the coaches have their meetings, and then brought to the coaches advisory to take to MSHSAA and say what can be done?
It's only really been an issue in the last couple of years since they went to that extra class, when they spread the teams out further. I'm trying to find a good way to articulate it so it doesn't sound like I'm just complaining about it, to come up with these ideas in order to eliminate all of these long bus rides unnecessarily in some instances.
But they should eliminate them, because there's got to be a better fix. I mean, I've just been looking at this map, and I don't understand the justification for this. I think there could be, even in football, you can almost have like 4 mini districts in play, and then come up with some. I mean, they're so far spread out, it makes no
here's the
sense.
thing, though.
In football, worse than anything else, I would say that 1 versus 8
Zach,
game. If that
calm it along.
that 1-8 game, if that number 8 team has to travel 4 hours to get beat by 70, is that really being student centered?
So
But here's what I'm going to
are
tell
we
you
going to
about
see
football.
some forfeits then?
I
Are we gonna
guarantee
see
somebody.
some?
Oh, you're going to see forfeits in football.
Now, what I'll say is we've seen this before, and in some instances, like last year in our soccer district, we had a lot of rain in the first round, and we had 4 games, and we were playing really late. A team was losing 7-0 at halftime, and they couldn't walk away because 8's the mercy rule.
number.
They couldn't walk away at halftime because then that means they forfeited the game and would have been fined by MSHSAA for forfeiting a district game.
Dumb.
Now, I don't know if that's
insane.
100% true or not.
It is true. It is true.
But
Yes,
if they
if
would have just
you-
said at the beginning, hey, we have too many injuries, we're going to forfeit, they don't get fined.
If you have to, if there's an injury issue, to my knowledge, and you forfeit before the district starts, then you're fine. But once the district bracket is set, and then you have to forfeit, then I think there's some fine. I'm not sure what the number is.
Well,
And
I
that's
go
okay.
back.
But in
Go
that
ahead.
instance, it's like the school was like, we're down 7-0 at halftime. At
Yeah.
the other school, that we had to wait out a 30-minute rain delay. They come back on, and the other school scored within the first minute to end it. And
I'm
we could
telling
have
you,
gone home like 45 minutes ago.
The conversation happened this year, and I guarantee you in football, it's going to happen again next year. There was actually a conversation to bring football back to 5 classes because of how everything on the bottom, you've got more class 1 teams going to 8-man because of enrollment. And I'm not sure what the vote, I know it got voted down, but I know it was awfully close. I honestly think we are going to get back to see football back to 5 classes. And once again, I've been very vocal about this, and I will continue to say this. We will see 8-man football in this side of the state within the next 3 to 5 years. I honestly believe that is going to happen.
Jim, the way the MSHSAA has the map set up with all these districts, it used to be we're not going to do 8-man because there's nobody to play. We'd have to drive across the state. Well, hell, now you have to. Now you got to go all the way across state for some of these games. Might as well just say it.
I'm looking at that map on District 1 and 2 in Class 1, and wow.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just wow.
I go back to we kind of talked a little bit about this, and you were talking about going back to 5 classifications. My thought is you need to do something about like what California does. Go to an open division. Let your DeSmets, let your CBCs, let all those.
The schools are not going to vote for that. That is a dead issue.
Well, open it up. Let it be the Wild West, and then I think, Kevin was like, "What?" I think you get rid of classifications by enrollment, and you look at their history. Because I'm sorry, why do you want to play Team A that has 20 years of going 0-10 and 1-10, but they're Class 6, and you get points for that because they're Class 6? They have no business playing a large schedule, and then you got a Class 3 team or Class 1 team that's perennial Final Fours and all that probably play those Class 5 and Class 6 schools and compete. So get rid of all of it and say, here's 50 schools that are the top notch, next 50 schools, whatever number you want to put, and relegate.
Well, here's the relegation thing again. My gosh.
You're not using it right.
Here's the
relegate in Rome.
I would love Missouri to go to how Illinois does it.
It's funny. I was going to say the same thing.
You have to win 5 games, and then you don't know what classification you are in until now. You have an idea, but you don't know for sure where you're going to end up until the selection show that is this Saturday.
Then I'm putting the 5 scrub-a-dubs. I'll drive 4 hours if I want to go get a win. See, and that's the problem is that you don't know.
Oh, no, there's points involved in that too, Zach. There's points. It's not only 5 wins. There's also points in there as well. But in order to be considered to be what they call playoff eligible in Illinois, you have to have 5 wins. And then there's point assignments and all that stuff.
So you can get your 5 wins against 5 winless teams, but you may end up playing East St. Louis in that first round because you get a low seed on it.
Yeah, I mean, and they seed it. They seed
better.
They do two brackets, and they seed it 1
Schedule
through 32.
better is what it sounds like.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm just doing what you said. Just go play 5 scrub-a-dubs and get your 5 wins.
But
okay,
you've also got to play those scrub-a-dubs and hope that they're going to win some games, because then you're getting points. I mean, there's still a point system involved to where you have to play some decent teams in those wins to get points because
Shooty, turn your phone off.
Okay, tell me why, if you're a DeSmet and you're a CBC and you're a Ritter and you're a Luther North, why would you not want to be open and say, you know what, hey, we're gonna go play a national schedule. We're gonna go get our guys recruited to go play. It happens in basketball. You got Link Academy in Missouri. You got all IMG.
But Link is not sanctioned by MSHSAA.
But my point is that you have those type of schools in the country. Let those schools go do that same thing, and then that's their, hey, there's our bread and butter. You want to go be a D1 athlete? Come to our school, because we're gonna go travel. We're gonna go play a national schedule. We're gonna get you.
You're going to see a couple of those schools in the St. Louis area here in the near future.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Now the thing is, though, and going back to what we were saying about the whole thing with the district assignments and the classifications and stuff like that, I mean, there has to be a better system than what's in place right now, as far as, you know, being able to have these kids not drive all over God's green earth. I mean, I'm just looking at softball, because being in basketball, you kind of get, stuck in knowing how things are in your own sport. But, even in class 1 and 2 softball, there's only 8 districts around the state, and you have 5 classes. In just looking at the map, everything in class 2, it's all spread out. Again, makes no sense. Why couldn't we, make a smaller amount of teams in a district and play those districts? You're still going to find out who the best school is.
Sure.
Why are we so worried? Again, like even in 5 and 6 basketball, it was, well, we need to have 8 team districts. Well, who was the person who was pissing and moaning about the 4 and 5 school districts in class 5? Because why? Somebody won that and had to play somebody else. Again, what point is that? Why do we want, again? Okay, and talking to like a couple of coaches who were in, I think it was class 5, and they have their district basically spread out through I-70. So you have Warrensburg, Sedalia, and they're having seed meetings with teams over by St. Louis. Number one, they've never seen each other play, haven't played each other, usually don't. You play your conference, we play ours. Then, on top of that, the other problem is when you're trying to decide your all-district team, nobody's seen each other play. Right. So why do you want to be playing, again, if we're all about the kids, and now we got to go to a neutral site, and there's 5 schools on this side of the state and only 3 of us. That means that we're going to go over there because there's more of them. That's how it always goes. Everybody here knows the seed meetings. Everybody's trying to get the neutral site when the district assignments come out. Try to find those 5 schools if it's 8, or try to have more, whatever. Then why not reduce the number of teams in the district, add more districts, make sure that the kids aren't going all over God's green earth, and then if you have to, you just add that extra game into the state tournament anyway, and then you still do the top of the brackets host. They're the ones hosting. You don't have to worry about neutral sites anymore as far as the state tournament. We already know that's the thing.
And I disagree with that still.
We can disagree all day long, and it's
no. I disagree on the neutral site thing. I disagree in the sectional quarters.
I agree. So what my point is, though, is why can't we go back to that? Who What would be what was the problem with that?
Well, here's another an unintended side effect that would come from that is now with this championship factor, they would have to redetermine all of these points for winning districts. Would you actually get a point for winning your regional, or would you only get the point for winning your super or your district or your super district? That's just an intended consequence that would come with that.
Okay, and Kevin, and I know that you know your softball. You've had how many districts have you won since you've been there? Since under the championship factor.
Under the championship factor, 3.
Yes. Okay, you gained points, didn't you?
1 point for each one. That's why we were up in Class 3 for several years until they rolled off.
And then it's things where when you have those district championships, I don't think you should be getting points for winning a district because you can be playing in the worst district. And I know that one of the reasons why it's like, well, we wanted to improve the districts. So that way, that's one of the reasons. So that way, when you get that, if you're a private school and you win the district, you get that point. It's more, it's more deserving, I guess you could say.
One year we did win a district with a 5-15 record. We were the 1 seed in that district. It was the worst district in the state, but I'm not taking it away from my kids. They worked really hard that week to win that district, but we got a point for it. And then the very next district that we played in the sectional game, it was a sectional game at that point. They had 4 teams that won 20 games.
Rubber bands didn't stretch that far.
No. So if they would have all been under the championship factor, the team that got the point was 8-16 that year versus the 3 teams that won 20 games that did not win the other district would not have gotten a point based on their success in that sense. So I've also
maybe you had a tougher schedule.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Wow. I mean, we put our conference in softball is extremely tough. So, but as a whole, we still with a 5-15 record. I don't care what it is. We should not have been. If you were evenly balancing out the competitiveness of each district, we should not have been a 1 seed in a district. And it's that sense. And if you're going to put that incentive on winning a district, they should be competitively balanced throughout.
Well, and that's the thing too, is they're just not, because the districts, and this is the other reason why I don't agree with the points for the districts, because your districts are usually geographic. So you're not always going to have the best teams in your district.
Geographic is a relative term, but yes.
It is. Well, I know, but it's because they're based on geography. In a sense, they are the rubber band stretches. Otherwise, we would have, well, you're in a district with Tarkio High School out of Northwest Missouri. Well, I don't know where the hell Tarkio is, but by God, they're in our district. So our districts are geographically put together. Why does that determining a point for private school? And again, we could have the public-private debate all day. Jason's like, yeah, you private schools, whatever. I get it.
No, see, I've been really quiet because ever since he said regulators,
relegation.
I've been Warren G-ing it over here. Regular mount up. Because evidently that's what we need. We need
now
some
that
regulators.
song's going to be stuck in my head.
Mount up.
I'm going to be blasting that tomorrow morning when Kevin walks in.
It's been bouncing in my head since he said regulate or regulator or whatever he said earlier.
Relegate.
Well, all it made me think of was Warren G. But anyway,
Brian Deering says, "What about a
4-team
district round?"
We've already gone down that road, and there was too many 2-8 football teams that would win that district and make it into the stinking playoffs.
I'm sorry, but the 4-team districts was the best. That was the best. Everyone still got something to play for. Back when it was old school way.
I would, if I were going to do that, I would do.
You still got to win. You got to win to get there.
But you could be 0-7 going into those last 3 games. Win 2 of those 3 games, and you're 2-8 going into the stinking playoffs. Really? No.
Instead of the round robin, just make it tournament style: 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3.
Yeah, whatever.
Go. It's a 2-week district.
I still
get hot,
say
like
it ought
all
to
other
be.
sports, you get hot, you move on.
You should play the district teams in the regular schedule, and that's how you seed.
Is this? This
Except
is
I
hurt.
don't want to do that in my case because I don't want to drive 5 hours to play
This
Twin
is going to
Rivers
hurt
on a
me to
school
say,
night.
but doesn't like Illinois like rank them like they?
They're 1 through they have 2 32 team brackets in each class,
and then you're ranked, and that's how it.
Yep, it's yes, and I once again. I like the Illinois side, the way they do it. I mean, back for in Ohio, it's all computer rankings. Not every team makes it. It's all computer. You need to have a master's in math, which rules Zach out right out of the gate.
Rules most of us out.
Yeah.
I took one math class in college. Come on,
you need
gotta be
like,
the whole thing.
whatever. You need an abacus to try and figure out how to make the playoffs in Ohio.
TI 84, you'll be fine. You have the graph,
ladies and gentlemen,
to create the graph. So again, I mean, MSHSAA in football has put together this point system. So basically, we have a point system in place. It is a computer ran thing that decides your seating.
Stupid.
So because of that, why not either go to computers to decide, I mean, go ahead.
Why do you think some of these small schools are playing these big 6A crappy schools?
Why
are the 6A schools playing the crappy little schools? I don't.
They're trying to win.
They're trying to win.
Why do you think Valley Catholic played a Class 6 team in week 1, Class 5 week in week 2? Then they just played another Class 5 team
because they should be playing them.
Well, they should be playing them, number 1, but number 2, that's giving them more points in order to bolster their resume.
That's what it's about.
Because of the points. Because they're getting a 10-point bump right out of the gate for playing up a
and their conference.
Well, that's just like Pius's district. Again, you can't sit here and tell me a 2-win team is in the top 4 right now simply because that's their schedule. Like they're playing all of these bigger schools on the schedule. That's dumb. It is absolute. Not only are they playing them, they're still losing and they still get points. Like that's just completely asinine to me. Like again, you have to put a point of emphasis on winning. And then again, a Valley who's a Class 2 school is going to be better than a Northwest who is a Class 6 school. Classifications to me mean absolutely diddly squat, period. And so there's got to be, again, if you sit here and say you have an 8-team district, 7 weeks are district opponents, you find 3 others, conferences like Chris wants in college, conferences go bye-bye. And then if you want your cupcake wins, you schedule them in the 3 weeks that you have, but you do your 7 weeks of district opponents. That's how you seed. 7 and 8, they play each other. They're done. And then 1 through 6, they're moving on to the state playoffs.
I mean, it's not terrible.
Thank you, Chris. That's the best compliment you've given me in 3 years.
I was just getting ready for you to say that.
Hey, Zach, draw a playoff for me. Hey,
hey, Zach.
Yeah.
Just do better.
Do better, right?
Do better.
Wow.
No, I mean, the thing is there's everything that we're gonna do is going to get second guessed anyway. I mean, it really is. At the end of the day,
everybody gets second guessed.
Everybody's second guessed. Not everybody's going to be happy. We understand that, but gosh, it just seems like there's got to be a better way. I don't think you should reward a team just because we're going to go out there and hey, we're going to go play these big schools, get our butts kicked, and we're benefiting from losing. At the end of the day, we should be getting, it devalues wins is really what it does.
Exactly.
And many of those points, a loss to a larger school could be worth more points than a win versus a similar size school.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you're making your schedule outside your conference, you're looking at schools. Hey, let's play this big school. I get a chance.
I'll go 0-9, lose by 40, still get a 1 seed.
Hey, we'll go play this really big school who hasn't won a game in 6 years, but it's a big school.
Did you do the eye roll
even if we get a loss, we still get points.
So this is now using what Zach says, and then you combine what Jim says about it, doing what Illinois does. You can't just do that. You have to win the games in order to qualify. And that's where I think, oh boy, I mean, I think I pulled some. I think Illinois is doing it better.
I
you
knew
do that.
That's what I said when I brought up Illinois. I'm like,
I know it freaking sucks to say that, but that I mean, again, it's
they ain't
not
got much else right over there, so I guess
that's
they gotta
true.
get something.
Well, they got socialism, right? But the thing is,
Do
they well, again, because it worked.
Ever worked? When has that ever worked?
Wait, it's the very best it could be. I mean, that's what socialism is right now.
Hold on, Jim. Here comes another eye roll.
But what
I've already done this. I've already done the famous Jim hat.
I don't see why we continue to again. It should be about you reward the winning and let's go. I mean, I don't get it. It's stupid. I think that's dumb. I mean, you can't just sit there and lose and be like, oh yeah, you go ahead, get points.
It's the path of least resistance. What is the way that can be the easiest path for the schools of MSHSAA in order to make this work?
The biggest piece is the coaches need to get into their area advisory committee people. That way it can all be taken to the advisory committee, to the advisory. That way they can have those conversations and let Mission know what the coaches are thinking.
Coaches won't agree on anything enough.
Coaches can't agree on anything.
We can't agree on anything.
This is a perfect example.
I'm going to tell you right
here.
now that me and Chris usually agree that Zach's an idiot. I mean,
I don't think Zach's an idiot.
Okay, well, we don't.
He's just bad at math.
By the way, next week we're debuting our new segment, the great debate between McVey and Jarvis.
It's supposed to be Miller and Jarvis.
You keep saying that, but
They've
you
been
two are the ones who
slacking.
disagree all the time.
You can come up with your own show. We'll call it Miller Time.
No,
We already
that's just
have it. It's
dumb.
Miller's Minutes.
Oh, that's what. Never mind.
And on that note, maybe
Yes.
time for commercial.
Wow, I think it is time for a commercial now. All right, you're watching the Coach's Box. There's still more to talk about. We'll be back.
Play-by-play announcer who's in your ear
All game long. And the more praise they heap on your team, the more excited you get. Touchdown! Now, you don't hear the upstairs toilet overflowing, and I don't mean with confidence. You wanted a bowl season? You got a bowl season. And if I could show up on game day, imagine what could happen the rest of the week.
So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Hey guys, it's Jeff from Case and Bucks, personally inviting you and your family to come check us out. We've taken over ownership back in September. We've made some great positive changes, got the same legacy wings, got some amazing pizzas, some awesome burgers, hamburgers provided by Kenrick's. We'd love to have you down. Come check us out. The beer's cold, the air conditioning's working, and we're looking forward to seeing y'all. Take care.
For 24 years, really enjoyed being a basketball coach. When I retired from coaching, I decided that I wanted to get back into the media world. I look at it from more of a coach's point of view. I love to showcase guests. I love to tell their stories, not just locally, regionally, but nationally as well. Joe Namath, Kurt Warner, Patrick Ewing, Katie Smith. Not just talk about their accolades, but what they have given back to the game, what they've given back as leaders in their community. And I want people to be able to listen to my show and to be able to take that into their lives. They're going to be able to live their life like a champion. That's a show right there that I feel like is worth listening to.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the third segment of the Coach's Box. You can always go back and watch all of our episodes.
What's wrong, Jim?
If you want. Well, I don't know what Jim's what.
I don't know. He's just
past his bedtime. The old man's getting tired.
The rubber band in my knee is falling apart.
It already fell apart.
It's got one of those Misha rubber bands, don't
surgery.
So it stretched out like Misha's rubber bands they use. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, golly, here we go. Go ahead and tell us
Anyway,
what
you
we're
can-
going to miss.
Well, you can go. Go ahead.
I just want Misha to know that you notice I haven't said much at all. about you guys.
Using this show,
Deniable accountability.
Anyway, you can go back and watch all of our episodes and see all of our off the rails nonsense, fun, and whatever shenanigans we do. You can see it all on YouTube, Facebook. And guys, how much does it cost to go and watch?
It is
Free.
We should harmonize that. Anyway, you can go back and watch those. All of our shows are free. You can watch Jim's show on the move, the Caravan Sports Preview show every week. It is also free. All of our content is free because we want you guys to watch it and not have to worry about paywalls and pay-per-view. And we want you entertained. And are you not entertained?
And you will get great value.
Great freaking value all the time.
That's right.
Zach, I didn't say the bad word.
Man, you see Alicia's post there. That's why I'm up so late too.
Gosh, how'd you guys manage to get 4 days off?
It's Ameren UE's fault, by the way.
There's no power at the school?
Well, they're cutting off power to our central office, and that's where all of our
bells,
no
servers,
all our servers,
third
everything.
world problems.
Yes, tech guy understands
so
that word.
kids, if you want another day off, Jarvis just told you where to go.
No kids watch this show. Come on.
That's true.
So yeah. We didn't find this out until like 3 something today.
That reminds me of there were 1 year. This was after I graduated. I found out that kids, they wanted to try and get a day off school, so they super glued all of the locks around the school. Yeah, that didn't work out too well for them. Yeah,
Where at?
Over at the alma mater.
Over at CC.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Brian Daring, were you a part of that?
No, he was older than me. He was already gone.
Yeah, he was old. He was gone. I mean, Alicia Nicole saying they should give us Friday off too.
Why not? Hell,
You may end up
build
with
up
it if they
school
don't get
snow
it.
days
Health
and pray
day.
for no snow this year. I mean,
Well, you
what
don't
the
have to worry
heck?
about snow days. We have virtual schools now.
Well, we're doing an AMI day tomorrow. So
What does that stand for?
Alternative methods of instruction.
Oh, okay.
The tech guy knows
So is
that
that
more
like
than
they do
Jarvis.
it
Wow,
I knew it.
shocking
Heck,
development.
I knew it.
It's
I mean,
e-learning.
Zach doesn't know. Come on, he just doesn't
They
math
have
or
to use
technology.
They have
or-
to use methods of instruction as a phrase because it's a buzzword in education.
That is
Virtual learning.
correct. That
Oh,
is correct.
my-
That
well, that's
is
a
correct.
buzzword that came about because of COVID.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So is hold harmless, but who's counting? So dumb.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
hey, anybody can have
Wow.
any type of new grading system. I mean, if you saw that in the news, oh yeah.
And sometimes I wonder what my son's doing upstairs because it's loud. I'm like, "Oh."
I never know what he's doing.
Oh man!
Creating another hole in my ceiling.
Okay, let's get okay. You opened Pandora's box, so I'm going to talk about it.
Uh-oh.
That damn hole was because of a pipe leaked. A pipe leaked. We had to cut a hole. I mean, I could have done the
In 3
drop
years.
ceiling, but drop ceiling was more expensive than drywall at the time. So I was like,
Right.
no, I'm drywalling this crap. But so I had to cut a hole.
Nobody here is
You got to keep bringing it up.
because it's funny.
Well,
And you get wound up.
the last producer of the show.
Oh, jeez.
It's been like 3 years.
Oh, there's a statute of limitations. You got to at
It's
least
not
get
a
over it.
statute of limitations for how long I hold a grudge.
Wow.
Just trying to get beyond the CTE cloud of your.
Tim, speaking of grudges, are you ever going to pay me my money?
Hold on. We went. No. It's even because you said I wasn't going to be here tonight. And what is 3 straight weeks called? A winning streak.
I didn't say $26. I said 20.
So now you owe him $6. Apparently,
It doesn't matter. I knew I wasn't getting that money, and the kind of friend I am, I still bought him a milkshake, which he probably didn't need that either, but I bought it for him.
You could have
Because
just
he,
asked. Hey,
it probably put a little extra pressure on his knee, and now look at him.
Jarvis went all Nancy Kerrigan on him. Just
Yes,
for
he
fun.
did. Yes, he did.
Nancy Kerrigan.
you could have just asked him to Venmo you. I mean, that's what we do now.
I thought he would offer it. He never did. 'Cause you would think someone would. Oh, wow. So, Jim, there, you and Kevin can hang out. Hey, maybe you two should
Hold
do
on.
this show
Hold
together.
on.
Hold on. Wait a second. Hold on. Before
Wait
you
a
speak,
minute.
before you go in, Kevin, I thought we had a height requirement for anybody to be able to chirp in.
We do not have a height
By the
requirement
way,
on viewers.
I wanted
Come
on the record, I did pay Moreno. He did not like my payment method, but I paid.
How many rolls of
Moreno.
pennies did you give him?
Right.
No,
right.
5 airplane bottles of bourbon.
Oh,
Instead of
One
I'd be
bottle
okay
of
with
bourbon.
Wait a minute.
give
Give
him
him
shooters.
5 airplane bottles, and
There
you're
he
supposed to
goes.
give him a bottle of bourbon?
I gave him 5. I figured I overpaid.
and by the way, the countdown,
you are
the
cheap.
Marino countdown and text messaging me the middle finger of me, Joe, begins in 5, 4, 3, 2,
He
1.
respects you, man.
Oh.
It wasn't even bourbon.
It
he
was
says.
bourbon. He just can't read it that small.
He just-
Well, wait a second. Small person reading small letters, it actually works.
Oh,
No.
my God. Power scheme. Well, he won't. He definitely ain't gonna be able to walk after you, so you'll be okay.
All right, so our last
Oh,
segment.
man. I got off the rails real quick.
Oh, it was.
Shenanigans.
Marino should just come on the show. I mean,
We
he's
should have
commenting
Eddie on one of
anyway.
these weeks.
Okay, listen, we're already got 3 pious dudes on this thing. That's enough for me.
Do you feel outnumbered?
So subtract one of you. So McVey, you're off. Bring it. Bring
Bye.
Marino on. I think I'd probably
Hey,
I'd
can
probably
you join
enjoy that
now?
a lot more. As much as I've seen Marino take digs at some of you guys, I'd rather have him on anyway. So bye, McVey. Go on assignment. Hang out with Shooty.
Oh,
Man. Man, it's a lot of
Dang.
hurtful stuff here
All
tonight.
right, last segment.
Last segment. Let's go.
Oh,
Let's go.
okay. Somebody's got to go to bed. It's getting late.
Pretty much.
Windows closing. Come on now.
Oh, man.
Mizzou gets a big win this week.
He said, "What's the code? I'll sign in."
No. Mizzou gets a big win. Mizzou gets a big win. Looked sluggish early, but then was able to do what they needed to do in the end.
You think they look sluggish? 14-0. I was like,
sluggish meant they would have looked better than what they did.
Yeah. So they got South Carolina this week. Now South Carolina 2-4, but they are not a bad 2-4 team. It's homecoming. You got a bye week, and then you've got just a gauntlet coming out after you. After the bye week.
You know how Mizzou does when they get ranked.
Yeah, I know.
They had 1 week.
That's where I'm going with it. It's a Titanic. It's a Titanic that's gonna fail.
Oh,
Annette. I mean,
hold on.
I'm gonna say this.
Whoa! You said
Praise
you were
the
all
sunshine.
positive about Mizzou, and then now you're talking about them.
No,
failing.
I'm positive
Jim
about
Powers
Mizzou,
sucks.
Hey, I don't know. Jarvis and I were the two that picked them to beat Kentucky.
You're right.
when
Yes,
we went
you're
through
right.
that.
Yeah, man.
Did I
of
pick
course.
him to beat Kentucky?
No, you did not.
No, me, you, and
I
Zach
thought it was a
picked
push.
Kentucky.
No, you three had. It's like me
A
making
push
my
is a
picks.
loss.
It's like me making
No,
my
push
picks
is-
last week.
Push is a tie. A push is
And
a
you had nobody
tie.
to blame but yourself on that one, Jason.
I
It's
got
all right.
I got the reminder email today, and I put them in.
Hey, don't worry. The lowest score is getting dropped anyway.
Well, that sucks.
Oh
though.
my gosh.
Hey, I love Kevin's way of thinking. I've agreed with Kevin twice already tonight. Wow.
That's a shocking.
Hey, and he
development.
goes. He works at Pius.
So how
He
many
works at
more
Pius.
games? How many more games does Mizzou win going into postseason? Because hey, we're in October.
Hey,
and
shoot,
they're
he's there.
going to the postseason.
Yep.
Well, you're already going to the WeSuck.com bowl
No, it's nobody gives a rat's ass bowl.
because you're bowl eligible.
What's going to happen when
You're
we beat?
bowl
Hey,
eligible.
no. What's going to happen when we beat Georgia? You heard it here first. Jarvis says we beat Georgia.
I think I said they were going to beat Georgia.
Oh my gosh.
I
I know
said
they
they were gonna
lost
beat Georgia.
Bowers, but come on now.
They've got 3 Bowers behind him that can come in and do just as good of a job.
Listen, I'm still
see.
with Jason on this one.
I think they're
holding
gonna
out hope.
They're gonna shock some people. I told you guys this at the beginning, and y'all didn't want to listen to me.
At Georgia.
Damn, I should have worn my Mizzou crap tonight.
At Georgia.
Instead, you
I
wore
don't
the stupid
care.
Lakers stuff, LeBron.
Oh.
I said they were going to beat Georgia.
This is not LeBron, dude. This is Kobe, the Black Mamba.
Oh, I
could
can't see the
care
number. All I
less.
see is the Lakers.
I could care less about. I hate.
Could.
LeBron.
How about
LeBron
this?
sucks.
If Mizzou
Could.
beats South Carolina, Georgia does what they do. Could you get a game day, Mizzou at Georgia? Could you get an ESPN College game day that week?
No.
I bet if they
If-
beat Georgia,
yes.
you're getting one with Tennessee.
Yeah.
Then you would.
I
Not
go there.
Not the Georgia game.
You don't
But
think?
Not
I
the
don't
Georgia
know.
game,
I
but
think
they
if
would
they
get
both
to
win
Tennessee.
next week,
7-1
Georgia,
and
Mizzou.
8-0.
I just think that
Well,
I think
remember,
that
Mizzou's on the
ESPN's
bye
been to
next week.
Georgia once
Right.
already. I think.
What?
Yep.
Mizzou's on a bye next week.
Right.
Yes.
So when they would play, yeah.
It'd be November 4th at Georgia, but ESPN's already been to Georgia once. I don't know if they do that again.
The only thing that I'm thinking is does Michigan play Penn State that week? Because if that's the game, if that's the week
Yeah.
that those two play, and if Penn State does the impossible and win this week against the O,
Go Penn State.
Listen, I'm going to say this: Mizzou gets 4 more wins this year.
Oh, including bowl.
No,
including the bowl.
5, including the bowl.
You think they get to 10 wins this year?
Who's their loss? Georgia.
No, well, either Georgia or Tennessee, one of those two. I can't back-to-back
I think they
weeks.
lose
I think
those
it's be
two.
tough. But
I think they lose
both of
those
them.
two.
I don't
say-
think they do.
I think they win one of the two. Optimistically, they win
I
all
think they
5.
beat Georgia.
Oh,
Georgia just lost
Beating
one of the
Georgia.
best players in college football.
But like I just said,
It's
Jarvis, they've
Georgia.
got 3 other dudes just as good as Bowers
Yeah.
right behind him.
oh my God, you sound like Tyler Whaley. You're killing me.
It's Georgia.
I don't
It's
care.
called-
And
Here,
should've
here's
beat
an Ash.
Georgia.
Here's an Addy. Here's an Addy.
We
right
should have beat
there.
Georgia last year.
Listen, here
I agree.
I am with Jason on this one, and we're putting this on the record. I want this clipped for a future show.
Then clip it.
Clip it.
And I'll hold 2 hands up like this, and then
Respect
I'm gonna do
you.
something.
Double respect the crap out of all of of us.
Hey,
But I'm with
well,
Jason. I say they beat Georgia.
I'd say they're beating Georgia too.
Oh
What
yeah.
the hell, you guys? I'm just like, no,
Me and you are the 2 outliers here.
Once again,
Chris jumped on the bandwagon.
I said
Realist.
2 weeks ago they were going to beat Georgia. Then they freaking lost the game to LSU. I said they were going to beat LSU. I said the only game I was worried about was the Kentucky game. I said that was the one. I said it was a push. It go either way. That's the one I freaking said. Go back and watch the damn show. I know. I clip and cut and do all the editing. Damn it. I know what I said.
This is my
you said
show.
that. You guys, none of you guys.
It's my show.
I said it.
Say it was my show.
Oh, hey,
And I told you all.
Boar wants to take the bet. Boar wants to take any bets you guys got.
He's
said
hold
he
on.
pushes
Boar's
in
going to take
Pushes a
Mizzou
no bet.
over-
You don't eat. You do not even pay the juice.
And on our next episode of Betting with Boar,
Well, that's. I mean,
we
if you
learn what
gotta-
the money line is for all the
I was going to
games.
say, are you, Boar, you think Mizzou's going to win? Oh, my goodness gracious.
Hey, negative Nelly.
Oh, okay,
If-
take your Duke hat and get off.
Let's
Mizzou,
go,
off the
Duke.
screen.
Let's go.
Mizzou will have 2 more losses. Georgia,
He-
Tennessee.
Hey, as great as they're playing right now, Arkansas and Florida, they aren't gimmies.
No.
They aren't. Florida's sitting at 5-2, and they were supposed to be bottom of the barrel in the
Sam
SEC
Pittman's
this year.
playing. That game is going to determine whether Sam Pittman is going to be the head coach at Arkansas next year or not. They will be ready to play Mizzou down there this year.
He
Just
could be
because-
fired before then.
Exactly. He could be fired on the
Oh,
tarmac
my
for all we
God.
know in
You
the
guys,
next 3 weeks.
Oh, you and your it's your job. Blah blah. Mizzou's gonna thump them.
I hope so.
I
but
hope-
they ain't
I
getting
do
past
too. I
Georgia.
can't stand Arkansas.
They ain't getting past Georgia, and they don't. I'm sorry, the offense is great, but you're gonna have to hang 50 plus on Tennessee, and that ain't happening.
No.
I think
You
they
guys
get-
are so negative. So sad.
What is
I
it?
know.
You guys just must
I've
sit
changed
around.
my-
I just want to punch McVey. He gets me to that point all the time.
I'm the one that said that they wouldn't get 5 wins in the whole season.
Yeah, I said 6 wins in a bowl
And I've
Hey,
even
6
I've
wins
even gotten on the
at
bandwagon
the beginning of the
They
year.
aren't- They
That's
aren't
terrible.
beating Georgia.
I told you
and
8.
I told you they would win 5, and then all of a sudden they started throwing
All
the ball to Burden. It's like, oh, hey, we
who
can win
knew?
games now.
If they beat Georgia, I will wear a Mizzou jersey. I will wear a Mizzou hat for the whole show following that week.
Mark it down.
Ooh, the great Ohio State's gonna wear
I will-
Mizzou stuff.
No. You don't understand. This would be great. I really want to see that happen.
Just see Moreno. He said he'll gladly punch you for me at school tomorrow.
Punching
Thank
him in the
you.
stomach.
It's
And
a
my
video.
brother- My
commercial.
brother Dave also said, "Get Marino on and Zach off."
Jeez, Zach's not feeling any love tonight.
Here, I will say this: Board does have a very good point. Mizzou has yet to show they can
Here we
outcoach the
go.
top programs.
Well, I will say this. I thought for the first time in a while, I got to see Eli Drinkwitz make adjustments more than another team against Kentucky.
I'll agree.
And he screwed the game. The other game, they should have ran on 2nd and 1. They should have ran the
That
ball.
was LSU.
We
Should
spent
ran the
20
ball.
minutes on that last week.
Should ran-
Let's not rehash.
Oh,
it.
shut up. We don't want to talk about the Ohio State.
Am I even mentioning Ohio State going to beat Penn State by 2 touchdowns? No, I have not mentioned one word about that.
You just said they're going to beat them by 2 touchdowns.
Not before I said that.
Hey, real quick, how about Notre Dame winning? Well, I did not see that was going to be that big of a.
Well,
How about Notre Dame winning that big?
That's what I
What
mean.
about Caleb Williams coming out and saying, "Okay, whatever team drafts me, I want to be part owner of the team"? Yeah, that's going to end really well for you, dude.
That's what this NIL crap did. It opened it all up, man.
Entitlement.
That's just his way of saying,
Entitlement.
go ahead and pick me. You're going to give me part of the team or I'm not signing.
Well, guess what? It's against NFL rules because that's already been tried. and it's not going to happen.
Well, no, I thought it was you couldn't have ownership in a.
I'm sorry, I don't think
in a
Caleb's
different.
I don't think
think you
he's
have ownership
that
in your team
dang
either.
good.
No,
I'm
Didn't
sorry.
they try that?
tried to
Did
pull
Peyton
that.
Manning try that?
Yeah.
With the Broncos.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I just don't
And the
think
NFL
he's
said
that
no,
good.
sorry.
They found a
I
way
don't
around
either,
that.
Jarvis.
I mean, I think
just
he's
don't.
good.
I do
I
not
just don't think he's that good.
No, I think he's good, but he's not Peyton Manning good. He's not. No,
Not
he's
a
not.
franchise.
No,
I'm
he's
gonna
not
tell you
Dan
another
Marino. He's not none of those guys.
He'll
I'm
be
going to tell you
another
who the
bust.
Heisman Trophy winner is going to be.
Kid from Washington.
Penix.
Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah.
Boy, did he put on a show on Saturday.
Mhm.
And Oregon's coach, you want to talk about bad coaching
I was
decisions?
gonna say, otherwise it's not him.
Yeah, exactly. You leave 6 points on the table
Mhm.
for not kicking field goals.
Yeah.
Then you go for it on 4th and whatever.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, dude. I like you as a coach. I thought what you said to Dion was terrific before that game. But, dude, you cannot leave points on the field
Mm-mm.
in a game like that.
Being aggressive, because he said at halftime, we're going to be aggressive. Being aggressive is getting points and putting points on the board. That's what being aggressive means. I mean, that was
That's just being stupid.
I put right in the text. I said when he went for it on 4th down, I said this game's over. Washington's going to figure out a way to win, and sure enough, they did.
Yeah.
And they didn't need the last second field goal miss.
Mhm.
They should have been up 6 points at that point.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
yeah, but I think Moreno brings a good point
Yeah.
up. His kicker missed the most important one. Obvious now why he didn't let him kick.
4th and goal on the 2, you let him kick the field goal. 4th and 2 on the
I've
10,
seen
you let him
kicker
kick the
kickers
field
screw
goal.
shit up before. I get it.
Don't get
now
me
we have the
started on
E.
that.
Now we have the E.
There it is.
And,
There it
and
is.
now we got
E for everyone.
everybody. Okay, Ron, is Wingo signing with Mizzou? Him going for an unofficial visit this week, it's making me feel like that I think Mizzou's
Awesome.
got the best shot right now.
I
to get it
like
out.
to hear that from Jim Powers, the one that knows.
I mean,
Jim is in the know.
canceled. He's, from my understanding, he has canceled all the rest of his visits. He's going for an unofficial this week to see the South Carolina
Jim.
again.
Wait. Can you say that like you're Adam Schefter talking about what you've heard?
That's awesome.
And then say
yes.
on our show saying your
You know what I've heard, guys, and guys, it's been going around. You know, from what my sources are telling me, Ryan Wingo is going to go to Mizzou. He canceled his visits.
See?
He's going on an unofficial visit. So yes, everybody thinks that he is going to Mizzou. That's what my sources are telling me. I'm Adam Schifter, ESPN.
There is a commercial in itself, right?
I love it. Perfect. No, I hope he does, and I hope all these kids that are really
all these
good
people in Missouri
end
need
up
to
in
go to Missouri.
All the STL kids, all the Kansas City kids. I mean, there's just
build the
a
fence.
boatload of talent.
We can say what we want about Drink's coaching and his mismanagement of time and all that. He's recruiting the hell out of Missouri and keeping these kids inside the borders. And I think he's doing a great job.
Drink's been, while he still has his shortcomings, Drink has been a better coach this year than in previous years.
Oh,
I'll agree with that.
And he's going to keep getting better since he gave up play calling and doing
him, but you gotta like the enthusiasm the dude has, and just I just like it.
Now, speaking of really stupid, we talked last week about stupid coaching decisions, and I said this in our group thing. I watched the 49ers and Browns play, and I know that Purdy didn't have his weapons. You know, he looked like Hawkeye losing the Avengers, as somebody put it. You know, and basically having to fight. You know, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, Kyle Shanahan cannot win. He should never call a play in the fourth quarter. He has to be the stupidest fourth quarter offensive coordinator play caller I have ever seen. You have an opportunity to put the Browns away in a game that you should have blew them out by 5 touchdowns because they got their third string quarterback. I get it. Their defense is really, really, really good. But the 49ers all of a sudden go, you know what we should do without our best weapons to throw the ball to? We should start throwing the ball on all 3 downs like 9 times in a row. So we'll go 3 and out 3 times and give them more opportunities to score and see if we can hold them off that way. What a freaking idiot. Talk about running the ball.
Well,
you run the ball, run the clock, and even the announcers going, why are they even throwing the ball?
Well, it was the Giants did the same thing at the end of their game. Daboll sent in a run play from the half-yard line to win it, and Tyrod Taylor alerts into a pass play from the same formation, and it just was the worst play call, short of trying to throw the ball instead of handing it to Marshawn Lynch in a Super Bowl type of stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
or handing it to Marshall Faulk instead of passing it. But anyway,
that's true. But man, but Kyle Shanahan's record of blowing games in the fourth quarter. I mean, Jason, we sat there and watched it at your house. 28-3.
I don't care. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive minds in NFL football.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And look at his tree. Look at what Miami's doing. That's him. I mean,
but in the fourth quarter, when you're winning the game,
run the gosh damn football. I don't know how many times I say that when I watch NFL football. I mean, it's a 3rd and 1, and you got Henry, and you're going to drop back and pass.
So push till they outlaw it.
It drives me insane.
What doesn't? Okay, so back when I started, really getting into football, like linebackers were 270. And they weren't like Levon Kirkland was not the most small fleet-footed dude. Like they were bigger, they were bigger guys. And all of a sudden, everybody started saying, okay, we're gonna spread everybody out. We're gonna go 4 and 5 wide receivers, shotgun, single back spread offense. But now everybody's smaller and they're fast. And it's like, well, wait a minute, why don't you just get all these really big dudes, put a fullback back there, and just power run everybody into the ground, because they don't stop anybody when they're little bitty dudes.
Because they actually were talking a little bit about this morning on 101, and they talked about how in college, a lot of these dudes, these linemen, don't have technique, don't have coaching and mechanics and all that, because they're always out of the 2-point stance in college. And then they went through this list of several guys that, well, this guy never put his hand down in the dirt ever. Or
like the guys the Rams drafted.
Right. Or on the flip side, this guy only put his hand down in the dirt and never knew how to pass block. And so they were talking about how is O-lineman, offensive lineman, is that not being coached up as well in college due to the style of play at the collegiate level.
It's a scheme-based thing.
It's scheme-based, absolutely.
And I'm going to say something that I believe is true about linemen. You either have the mentality of putting your hand down in the dirt and I'm going to whoop the guy in front of me's ass, or you don't.
That E is really, really loud right now, but go ahead.
I'm loud?
No, the E.
No, the E.
The explicit content. No, you're good. You're good.
Right, I said ass. Come on. So guys are it's easier to pass block. It is. It's easier to pass block than it is to run block.
Well, sure it is. But you
why is that? Tell us, football coach. Tell us why. Because I would think trying to manipulate an edge rusher from sacking the quarterback is tougher.
Well, it can be, but if your scheme is smart, I mean, if you're going to go against a Boza, you got to chip. You got to bring someone else to help you. You can't just sit your tackle out on an island against guys like that. But I don't know. I just think the mentality of America is not put your hand down in the dirt and go kick the person in front of his ass. It's just not anymore. I mean, I'm seeing it in high school football, dude. We got 15 or, there's teams out there with 14 kids standing in their jerseys and jeans on a Friday night, not playing in the game. It's just, I just think it's America thing. It's not just a NFL football thing.
Well, and I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I do think that there are some college programs who do have guys who put their hand in the dirt and they could possibly block and do that. By the way, I have to mention this because he just got that priceless. And everybody, Facebook apparently, and we got to jump on this. Facebook apparently removed Eddie Marino's comment saying, "Jarvis, I will gladly punch him for you tomorrow at school."
Thank you, Zuck.
The comment goes against
Zuckerberg.
our community standards on violence and incitement.
Wait,
it looks like you shared something that could encourage violence and lead to risk of physical harm or a direct threat to public safety.
They're worried about your public safety.
We have just officially
has a connection somewhere. McVey mafia shit.
What's that? What is it? What did you say?
No way.
Shit or something.
Mafia?
We have just officially seen it all.
Wow.
I cannot believe that.
I think on that note, Chris.
I think it's because of who made the comment.
Hey, Ed Marino is a fine, upstanding young man. Maybe short in stature, but he's a fine, upstanding young man.
Upstanding, not too tall, right? Is that what you're saying?
Golly, how much does he take on that?
Wait. How
about
much
this
much?
Hold on.
I like to call him Scarecrow because he's outstanding in his field.
Jarvis, you asked how much does he take? Oh, about yay much.
Oh,
he's already sent me. He sent me the double middle finger emoji. By the way.
He respects you twice as much.
My phone went dead, so I have nothing. But
yeah, it's probably a good time to.
I know you.
Cut this one off.
Hey, he's adjusting his glasses. He's rubbing his eyes.
Jim is.
Dude, the old man is ready to go to bed.
The hat's pulled way up on that forehead.
Up it like this. Pinching you and I.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the Coach's Box.
You got to get him on the show.
Yeah.
We can discuss it after hours. Anyway, appreciate everybody tuning in tonight for another wild and crazy episode of the Coach's Box. Don't forget, you can always go back and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and it's all how much to watch?
Free.
If you need to feel good about yourself, just tune in because you'll feel way better about yourself after you watch an episode.
That's what we're here for. We're here to make people feel better about themselves. It's like, man, my days really sucked. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna watch these guys. Yeah, I feel a lot better now.
Number one sports related podcast in Jefferson County, Missouri.
We would like to thank Alicia for staying up late tonight and viewing the show with us, since she does not have school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
Nice.
Neither
does Jarvis.
Sucks to be you all. Well,
Jarvis, you could always come over and sub.
I get my foot. You try my foot in the door over there?
Wow, that would be
that note,
absolutely wild.
Can I wear my Fergie stuff when I come on?
I am giving the school his name and number just for that reason.
Here's a guy you can call right here.
There's mornings I have to do subs. He's my first call.
Me and Lynn are kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. How much you guys pay?
Not great.
It's the afterlife, really, but
that's
the afterlife. Just
man.
because I'm not at a private school, I am not going to go.
No one said that. All right.
Come on now.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Look, he's going to cut me off now.
Another episode of the Coach's Box.
Whatever.
We're getting out of here. You all have a great night.
Just cut it.
This episode of the Coach's Box, Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.